the TGTS Radio Network. And now, TGTS is on the air. This is the greatest talk show on Block Talk Radio.
From oblivion. You ever watch the Twilight?
And now, here's your host, Mark the Arcturion.
Scary.
Maybe you don't live in Southern Cal. Maybe you don't run out of water. Maybe you don't live in a seismic zone. It doesn't matter where you live after the Arctic ice cap melts. One word: permafrost. Permafrost.
Greetings and welcome to the greatest talk show. I'm Mark the Arcturion, Captain USS Arcturus, Galaxy class, multi-dimensional drive. Think USS Enterprise. Beam me up. There's no intelligent life on this planet. We have a pretty good view from up here, what's going on down there. So I'm going to lead us on a journey around Earth 2016. AYFKM? WTF? In this episode, what on God's green earth is going on God's green earth is going on? Or, thank God that can't happen here. Stay tuned.
Let me just get this out of the way first. Are you saying you grew up on Arcturus? No, I did not grow up on Arcturus. Arcturus is a sun. Think Krypton, a planet far, far away with a different sun. That would make me the only guy here from a faraway place, here to save a world that doesn't want saving from itself. Textbook. But I volunteered for the job, and I suggest perhaps you did too.
Here's what we're going to cover on this episode of The Greatest Talk Show.
What does an OPA have to do with a Wahoo? What do the melting ice caps have to do with the heliophysical axial flux and the Photon Belt? What's a Photon Belt, and who says we're in one? What do the melting ice caps have to do with the Photon Belt? What does magnetic north, being 500 miles to the southeast, have to do with El Nino? And we're going to cover why El Nino is a joke and didn't cause any of this. We're going to cover why the eastern states are drowning and the coast is toast. We'll cover Quakes, global tectonic motion, the New Madrid fault.
I don't have time to cover what's with all the fracking quakes. There are no fracking quakes. It's injection wastewater wells. Yeah, that's the pitchforks and torches. No, it's not the injection water wells either. Turn on the USGS hazard map, and oh look, that's where all the earthquakes are. Smack dab in the middle of the Wabash Fault Zone, which, BTW, sits right next to her big sister, the New Madrid Fault. Larger than the San Andreas Fault and the Cascadia Subduction Zone combined. And she's waking up. Runs from Chicago, Lake Erie in Chicago, all the way to the Gulf of Mexico, and quite soon may rip the entire United States in half. You may have seen the maps, right down the Mississippi. But don't have time to cover that.
We'll go over the Ecuador-Japan quakes. Are they related? We're going to look at extreme weather, global flooding, sea level rise, and why we've shattered every known temperature record, both hottest and coldest, for the 12th straight month in a row over 2015, which is the hottest year on record since 2014, and if there's any end in sight. What does some ice in Siberia have to do with the 6th mass extinction event we are now in, and how long Earth will be able, at this ever-increasing rate of all these, be able to sustain human, plant, and animal life. And why didn't anyone know this was coming? And if they did, who knew? And why didn't they tell us? And if they did tell us, how come we haven't heard about it? Why, you'd have to be a master shaman to navigate all these signs. Well, you're in luck. We're going to cover all these and more, and you'll hear it first and only right here on the greatest talk show. Don't touch that dial. Stay tuned. If you're not one of the million or so that have heard me over my 20 plus years in broadcasting a dozen stations in half a dozen states.
Now, here's another 12 in a row with Mark the Shark. Today's hottest new country, Cat Country, 101.7.
Continuous Country, KUKI, 103.3, 97.1 in Lake County, 70.5 degrees currently. 23 minutes now before 8 o'clock. Marco in the morning. Going to be checking in the newsroom with Deirdre Harper at top of the hour. Now, a little bitty pretty twitty ditty. Conway on your station for Continuous Country, KUKI. Stay here.
All right, back to the music here with Marco 325. Actually, I've stopped even making pots of coffee. I grind the coffee, I lay it on the counter, and I just snort it up. That's how I do my coffee.
Or if you're not one of the 500,000 YouTube viewers, thank you very much, who know me by the sound of my voice. For the last 6 years, I've been a professor of heliophysics outside Boulder, Colorado, high in the Rockies.
Mark, this is really fascinating.
Want to tell everybody right now that I am broadcasting high in the Rocky Mountains. And why not? It's perfectly legal here. I also want you to know that I'm broadcasting from Boulder, Colorado at the Mile High Mystery School, which is currently located in front of a yogurt shop in the plaza, so I can use their free Wi-Fi outside in my car. That's right, just like Woody Harrelson broadcasting from an RV in 2012. But also, due to the sensitive nature of the information to be disseminated on this very greatest talk show, I didn't want to be logged in from my own server, because the last thing I need is a black van pulling up in front of my house, putting the hood on me, and taking me away in the middle of the show.
And now I am sitting on top of the San Andreas Fault. I think it's because I used so many San Andreas scenes in my films. Universe says, hey, how about a front row seat and some beachfront property?
So we'll get to that point where it's a big thing, you know, when California falls in the water, and you ask any geologist, it's not if, it's just when.
Bam. This quake lasted 11 minutes and spawned a tsunami 82 feet high that leveled Hilo, Hawaii, 8,000 miles away. 8,000 miles away.
Professor, do you think something that intense could happen here?
Well, the San Andreas Fault runs right up the spine of California. It's the demarcation line between two tectonic plates that are constantly moving. And add to that the fact that it's supposed to happen every 150 years, and we're about 100 years overdue. I'd say it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
2012, big movie came out. I couldn't make the movie. I had to send it over to Roland Emmerich and say, this is what it's going to look like, make the movie. So now, but we have this idea, it happens like that in one day, right? Big cataclysm. Oh, we'll get there, don't worry, but right now it's slow. The flooding in Jakarta and southern India.
6 years ago, this man's home was, well, out there somewhere.
It's just like you left the water on in the bathtub a little too long, and it's overflowing a little, and it's rising slowly. These shots of India, Pakistan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Jakarta, fascinating and real, and they're now. So we'll get to that point where it's a big thing, you know, and when California falls in the water, and you ask any geologist, it's not if, it's just when. In the business, we have a line we use: when California falls in the water, remember, it's Andreas' fault.
If you were thrilled by the towering inferno, if you were terrified by San Andreas, then you will be scared shitless by Mark the Arcturion's production of That's Armageddon. The most realistic depiction of doom, gloom, and destruction in motion picture history. With no special effects, you will never forget Mark the Arcturion's production of That's Armageddon.
Starts Friday at theaters everywhere.